Hi, welcome to Behind the Scenes with Axiom Medical. I'm your host, Jason McElwainey. If this is the first time you're joining us, this is a bi-weekly look at the people at Axiom Medical that make this company tick. We try to interview different people from different departments and kind of get an idea of who they are. One of the departments we haven't spoken to yet is our product team. And I thought I would introduce everyone to Irene Torguson. Irene, how are you? Irene, are you there? Oh, get some technical difficulties. Irene? Well, we'll come back to her. If you're a returning visitor, this is you've seen us interview quite a few people throughout the past few months, different departments, different people that have started in different areas and moved on to different areas. But let's check and see if we got Irene now. Irene, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, Jason. How are you?
I'm well, and yourself?
I'm doing good.
Can you hear me?
It's been a good day so far. I can hear you.
There might be a little bit of a delay on my end, I think. So Irene, introduce yourself. Let the people know who you are and what you do for Axiom Medical.
Okay, yeah. I am Irene Torguson. I am a product manager here at Axiom Medical. What that essentially means is that I speak for the customer, and sometimes the customer could be internal. It could be our direct users of our products, our CRM programs, or our internal nurses that are fielding some of these calls. I speak with them regularly to hear about what's working, what improvements we can make, and any other ideas that they hear as they're talking to customers. And then the customers also are customers, so the people that are using our products. I manage our Check Into Work product and our Axiom Client Portal product, which is where all of our customers get their reports and their dashboard from. And so I speak with them regularly to hear about what types of information is really working for them, what kind of information do they want to see more of, what kind of filtering would be best, what is the user experience in the application, what can we do to better those products. So then from there, I take that information and I work with IT, I work with development, I work with internal sales, I work with content and marketing. So we're kind of in a lot of different departments, making sure that the product is the best that it can be. I think you're muted, Jason.
I am. There we go. So how long have you been with Axiom Medical?
So this is funny. We just had an in-person sales and marketing meeting, and we were asked that question in front of a ton of people, which was a little nerve-wracking, standing up with a microphone. And I had to think about it for a minute and do some math, but I have been here a year and 8 months now. So
That's
a little over a year and a half.
That's, we talk about timelines, and I think we had an internal meeting the other day, like, did something happen last year in March, or was it this year in July? It's just everything's been a blur. And I know prior to you coming on, I think we started developing the Check Into Work app, and that's been primarily your focus. Is that correct?
Yeah, a lot of Check Into Work, which integrates really nicely with our Axiom Client Portal, because Check Into Work is great. Check Into Work is the front end, so it's what our customers interact with. It's how they tell us if they're fully vaccinated, what their last test result was, attesting to their health every day. But the piece that really is helpful for a lot of our customer admins is the reporting side of it. So that would be Axiom Client Portal. When I first came on, it was mostly Check Into Work, but now we're really focusing a lot more on Axiom Client Portal and the reporting side.
And can you explain what the Axiom Client Portal is? I mean, it seems pretty evident in the name, but for those that are joining us for the first time and may not know what we do.
Yeah, absolutely. The Axiom Client Portal, just very simply, is a dashboard, and it's a dashboard that allows admins at a company, so managers, admins, HR, personnel, to come on and pull the reports that they need to make sure that their location, their division, their company is safe and healthy, that we don't have any breakouts of COVID, or even beyond COVID, that we're managing any incident case management cases, so any cases where someone maybe rolled their ankle on the job and they want to know, what's going on with that employee, when will they be coming back to work, when was the last time an Axiom nurse spoke with this employee? So it's a really great hub of a ton of really good information based on the services that they have with Axiom Medical to pull the data that they need for their company.
That's great. And I know that that's something internally that we've been wanting for quite a long time. But, COVID hit, and it hit pretty hard. And as a company, we had to kind of take stock of what we're doing. And we developed a lot of these products on the fly, including Check Into Work. And I know when you were brought in, I think there was a sigh of relief on our side for such a small, we're still a small company at that point, but we really didn't have the internal support system to kind of be the front facing of that and saying, hey, here's what we should do there. Or this is some things that clients have said, so on and so forth. So, thank you for that. We're all very happy that you started with us.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I love Axiom Medical, and I really am so lucky to have been connected with Axiom Medical. It's actually a really interesting story. My husband's best friend's sister is a nurse at Axiom Medical, and my husband was laid off just after we brought my son home from the NICU, just 2 days afterwards. And I was working on building my own company, so I wasn't yet bringing in any money. So he was the sole provider. So when he lost his job, we had this new baby boy. We were just, really freaking out of how are we going to provide for this baby, and, all the things that were going on at the time. And one of the nurses at Axiom Medical said, well, we have this role that's available at Axiom. It was a kind of a, you're responding to different COVID conversations that are coming in via the phone. So there are case managers. And I had previously come from working at NASDAQ and working in SaaS, and I was just ready to jump on, any opportunity that I could to get in with a good company. And she said, I said, tell me more about Axiom. And she said, well, the really neat thing about Axiom is, Dara Wheeler has had several jobs at Axiom, and she's now the chief marketing officer here, but she worked in sales for a really long time. She worked front office. She's done all of these different roles at Axiom. And my recruiter, Tony Deletta, he told me the story that he was originally in IT. I believe he'd done a lot of roles with Axiom. And someone came and knocked on his door in IT and said, hey, do you want to get into HR and get into recruiting? And he was like, you mean get out of my dark dungeon and talk to people? And he's like the most outgoing, personable, confident person you'll ever meet, who's like, absolutely. And he's rocking that. And he's doing such a good job at that. And he's now in a different role. But what she was kind of telling me was like, it's not only a really great company, but this company, it noticed strengths. This is where you would be a good fit. And instead of saying, this position maybe isn't the best for you, it's, hey, your strengths are really good in this other position. And what was so lovely, the position that I had come in for, which was that case management role, as I started to talk to Tony about my background, he said, there's this product manager role that I think you would be a really good fit for based on your experience. So just without ever even starting and stepping a foot at Axiom, the reputation that Axiom had already preceded itself. Axiom was already putting me in a place based on my experience that wasn't even the role that I had applied for. So I'm so lucky to be here and to be with this company.
That's great. Yeah, and if anybody would like to go back, we've interviewed Tony and we've interviewed Dara in the past. Long-time Axiom employees that have kind of been through every department and to know a lot. So, what was it like being thrown into the mix and kind of taking on this new app, that the first app that we've ever done? What was that like?
It was a lot of questions. It was a lot of asking questions. It was a lot of getting my arms around where we were and where we wanted to go. So what do we have currently? What are the goals of where we want to be in 6 months and a year? And that was constantly changing. So, and that's the beauty of a product like this and in the business that we're in, is that you constantly have to change. That's the business that Axiom Medical is in. With the executive order, you don't know exactly what the executive order will be, exactly what will mandate. And so a lot of it is really just trying to think of the best solutions that our customers are going to need, and then hoping that when the mandate is released in this one instance, that were right on. And we were pleasantly surprised that we were almost right on with what they were requesting. There were just a couple tweaks that we had to make. But from the very beginning, it's always kind of been like that. It's, I think one of the things that Axiom does really well is it supports its customers, no matter where you stand on COVID or vaccine mandates or whatever aisle of the political spectrum you're on. The one thing that Axiom Medical does do really well is it's going to support their customers in that no matter what, because if they're going to be mandated to do this, Axiom Medical wants to be there to support them in that.
True. And our whole philosophy is to help people. And so we try to help clients help their employees. So we've talked about work. Let's talk about, so you mentioned last week that we had a meeting, a combined departments meeting, sort of a quarterly meeting of us. On the last day, a bunch of us got together and went to Topgolf. And that's when we were introduced to one of your, I don't know if it's a nickname you came up with on the spot or if it's a nickname that you have, but it was iRizzle T-Dog.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from. That's literally, no one's ever called me iRizzle ever. Well, maybe in volleyball, maybe in sand volleyball. You know, the funniest story of that, or the most impressive story of that day, Jason, was you smacking the heck out of the ball like you were Tiger Woods. Like, first of all, I don't know if anyone watching right now has ever been to Topgolf, but the goal for most of the games is you have to get it into these little circles and you get points based on that. I didn't know that. I thought you just had to whack the ball as far as you could. So I did that really well, but I had 0 points. Jason gets the game completely. Not only does it whack it really hard, he gets it into every single circle next to a pin and has the most points of like 5 of our people combined. Turns out that you've taken lessons. No, your dad showed you how to play golf or something in the past. What was the story behind that?
I just got lucky.
Yeah, no way.
I got lucky.
I invited you up to come shoot for me, and then I got 3rd place with the 2 times that you shot for me.
That was a lot of fun. That was great. You mentioned sand volleyball. Is that you? I know that's a passion of yours that you have, and you want to talk about that at all?
I do. I love sand volleyball so much. So I'm 5'3" in person, so I'm a tiny, tiny human being as far as the height spectrum is concerned. But I try volleyball. Volleyball sometimes requires, if you want to be a really good volleyball, to be pretty tall because you want to be able to block, you want to be able to hit. But I have a really good serve. So a lot of times my serves can't be returned. So that's where I kind of gain points for my team. I can place my serve. So I can place my serve right on the line. So whether it's on the right side where I'm serving from, or the left side right on the line, or the back line. So they think it's out and they won't go for it. And it's just right on the line and it's in. So I get a lot of points doing that. And I try really hard to hit the ball really hard by spiking it. But really I'm like 6 feet away from the net and it kind of lobs over. But I can place the balls. So that helps. But I love volleyball. I play in leagues. I play in tournaments. And Austin, Texas is where I live now. It's a huge hub for sand volleyball. We have professionals that come through here. We have Olympic players that train here. There's a lot of really great volleyball players. So I get to play with a lot of really good people, but I'm not the best because I'm 5'3", but I try really hard and I love it.
That's great. I mean, the fact that you can, did you say you could set your serve to wherever you wanted it to be?
I can place my serve, yeah, right on the line. But a lot of the players out here in Austin can do that. I think it's just funny when like this 5'3" tiny person comes up and they can just smack the heck out of the ball and like place it. It kind of shocks them. And they're like, oh, okay. And then, they'll return a few of them, but it's my sneak attack.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I've tried sand volleyball in the past. I think, being the weight that I am and just how tall I am, I'm just not good at it. I've never been.
There's no way. With your height, you'll have to come to Austin and we'll have to play some. With your height, all you have to do is stand there, hands up. I can teach you a few dinks. It'd be great.
There we go. I'll be the secret player. So what else do you do outside of the office besides sand volleyball? What are some other things? I know you mentioned you have a little boy, but outside of the family, what's something you like to do?
Yeah, a couple of things. So I have some weird hobbies. Well, weird to some. I really love nail art, which people are like, there's art that, people paint and people draw and people do different things or they play music. My husband is an excellent guitarist. He sings phenomenally. But I love nail art. So I love to do like funky things on my nails, not really long nails, but just like funky art on my nails. I have like my collection of jewels and nail polishes and things like that is like a salon. It's massive. I just moved into a house though, so everything is still kind of in boxes. So I go and get my nails done these days, but I'll sit there and just do funky things with my nails. I love doing that. And then I guess the other thing is poker. I really love poker. I actually earned a living for 6 months playing online poker.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
It's not easy playing online poker. You don't get to pick up on anyone's ticks or anyone's tells,
Right.
online. It's a little trickier. Yeah.
I bet. Yeah, I've known you for a little over a year and a half now. I would not want to compete with you on anything. You're an extremely competitive person. And that's a great
I don't
thing.
know whether to be wounded or like, thank you. No, I am. And I've always been super competitive. I'm a firm believer that we're all adults, but we're really all just the children that we were. We're just like children walking around in these adult bodies. And since I was a little girl, I've always been competitive. My mom, my birth mom, would say that if I was losing at any game, I would just throw the biggest fit. I'm like that in volleyball probably, but just a little bit more contained. Yeah, I like to win. I don't know anyone that doesn't like to win, but yeah.
Yeah, they say it's not how you play the game. It's not whether you win or lose. It's how you play the game or whatever. But I think deep down inside, everybody wants to win. You talked about the golf thing, and I don't really golf. I've just always been adept at picking up things very mediocrely. So I can pick up things easily and be very mediocre at them. So,
which is better than most people's good. You're like my husband. He's like, I'm really good at a lot of, like, his hacky sack skills are out of this world, but like he can't hook up his computer. It's like little things. I'm just kidding, honey. If you're watching, he hooked up my computer. He's really good at it. No, but he's good at a lot of things, but he doesn't feel like he's really great at everything. But I'm like, honey, he's actually really good. His moderate, and I think even yours, just seeing you play golf, your moderate is better than most people's good. So it's a good skill to have, Jason.
I've always, in life, when I was younger, focused on other things when I probably should have focused on more important things. Like if there was one point in my life that the amount of musical knowledge I knew about, like you give me a record, I could tell you what was on side 2 and, where it was produced and all this kind of stuff. I was immersed in musicology. And if I could have transferred that to like nuclear fission knowledge, I mean, I'd be so rich.
We'd be on a whole new energy source.
Yeah. So what else? What else do you want to share with us? Like what does the future look like?
I don't know what the future looks like. I really don't know. I love product management. Dara really explained it really well. She knows about my entrepreneurial like wants and aspirations. And she said it really well. She said, Irene, being a product manager is like being the CEO of that product. And that kind of shifted a thing. Dara Wheeler she's such an incredible manager. She's such an incredible director. It's a huge piece of how a company succeeds and how it fails is its executive team. And Axiom Medical has a superb executive team. I remember the first time I talked to Dr. Cherry, he said, Mark is the real deal. He's the real deal. He said, I've worked at a lot of hospitals. I've worked with a lot of CEOs. Mark's the real deal. And it took me a couple of weeks to really sit with that and feel that. And I started thinking about some of the CEOs that I'd worked with in the past and just observing Mark is relatively new when Dr. Cherry and I had that conversation. And after really getting to know Mark, I understood what he said. And he's absolutely right. He has empathy. He's really great at his job. He's smart. His work ethic is incredible. But when Dara said that, Dara's no different from that. She just knows how to bring out the best in people and how to make people really succeed. And so when she said that, it kind of just switched something for me in my brain of, even if I never get the opportunity to start my own company, which I hope that I do, it's really neat to be working in a product manager role where you really are kind of a CEO of that product. And so for the future for me is really continuing on with product management and, eventually working my way into a position of management, maybe. I don't know. It's just, I really love product management. So it's a really good question.
You're pretty good at it. You've taken this and just ran with it. So that's fantastic. And, you talk about Mark. For the people, you never got a chance to work in the office, or the people that joined us after we left the office. When Mark came into the office, he would walk through the entire office and say good morning to everyone. Every time he would make sure to say hi to everyone that was in the office. And I actually got pretty good at mimicking him. I could only say good morning, and I would get people sometimes.
Well, yeah.
I got Daryl one time. Daryl's like, I didn't think Mark was going to be in today. So, all right,
that's very nice.
Let's show some comments here. We got a comment here from Dom. It says, love working with Irene. She's amazing at what she does. And one of the coolest people I know.
Oh, nice. Dom, thank you.
Dom's a solid cat. Dom is on the graphics team with me and turns out everything that you see, any type of visuals that you see, Dom has designed it.
Yeah, and he's actually in UX and UI courses right now, and he is going to just kill, if I can say that on a podcast. He's just going to do so incredible in a role with UX and UI with his background and just what he's doing now. So I look forward to seeing what he does in the future.
Same. He may rule the world one day.
Here we got. Be a beautiful world.
Right. Here we got Holly says, yes, Irene and Jason McElwainey.
Oh, Holly.
And we got one more. It's more of an overall comment from Christy. I always enjoy seeing behind the scenes and the conversations that I have with employees. Always puts a face to a title and learn what they do. And that's the whole point of this is, to introduce everybody to the world and the company as a whole. So anything else you want to share with us, Irene?
No, I just thank you so much for having me on, Jason. And I really appreciate just having the opportunity to do this. I think this is just a lovely way to get to know Axiom and the people that work here, and I just appreciate you.
Yeah, and thank you for joining us. I loved learning about you, and hopefully everybody else learned a little bit about you today. So take care, everyone. We'll see you next time.